Hey, so I thought I'd make a video about hair stripping. I recently wanted to strip my hair. Now summer's coming up and I really wanted like a new natural kind of funky hair colour. I looked at stripping on YouTube and I found one helpful video that was of use, and I decided to go along with what she did because she explained it pretty well. She used Colour Before hair remover, so I decided that's what I was going to do. I went to town and I actually bought the same thing. This is the lid of the box. It has no ammonia or bleach, which is good for your hair because you want your hair to be in best condition as it can pretty much all the time. It cost about £7, which is quite a lot, but I found a hair dye. Well, I went to Savers, I think it's called Savers, something like that, which is, they have lots of hair like products in and things like that, which are cheaper than going to Boots. Say you'd spend £5 on a hair dye and in Savers it'd be £2. It does the exact same thing. I pretty much go there for my hair dye quite a bit. If they don't have the colouring I want, then obviously I'll go elsewhere, but it is cheaper and it's pretty much the same thing. I did dye it straight on the hair stripper, which is good because you don't want to be, if you've ever had hair stripper done in a salon, you have to go back a few times to get it done and your hair looks a mess for a while. So I didn't follow the instructions on the hair stripper. Well, I did read them, but I decided to do my own little twist on it. Seeing as I've got short hair, I halved the mixture. Basically, it comes in 2 bottles. You pour it one in another like hair dye, you'd pour the tube into the bottle. I applied it to my hair, I applied half the bottle to my hair, and I used a wide tooth comb to make sure it's even through the through my hair. And something to remember when stripping your hair: if you've dyed your hair like say a few weeks or a few months or whatever, then your roots will be fresh colour, it will be fresh hair, so if you dye over that it'll be completely fine and it'll go the colour you want it. So the ends of your hair are the ones that's going to be dyed the most and hold the most dye, as your roots will be fresh and new, they won't. So when applying the stripper, what I did was I kind of got my hair like this and applied it to the roots like that, and then brushed it and kept brushing it through. You have to leave it on for 60 minutes, and because I used half the bottle, I left it on for 60 minutes, washed it off, dried it, because you have to apply it to dry hair, and then I applied the other half of the bottle, which it doesn't say to do that on the instructions, but because I had so much colour build up and my hair was pretty dark, that's what I did. It's also kind of a cheaper way of not buying 2 boxes. I mean, if you've got short hair like me, I'd say to hair to about here, quite thin hair, you probably wouldn't need 2 boxes. I mean, if you did it and you used half the bottle and it worked, and then after you think you need another bottle, then I would get another one, but I didn't think it was necessary for my hair, so I did use half a bottle. After you have put the stripper on your hair and left it for 60 minutes or however you do it twice like I did, it was absolutely fine. It didn't really do much. I think it just double stripped it basically. I mean, it didn't affect my hair. My hair was dry after the first time I stripped it, but the second time it was exactly the same. After you strip it, the end process of stripping your hair is putting this on your hair, which is like a shampoo. I don't know. You put it on and it foams up like a shampoo. And you leave it on for 10 minutes and then wash it off, and then you leave it on for another 5 minutes. I just did an extra 2 washes, quick 2 washes, just to double check that it was out of my hair. After that I did dye straight back on it again. It turned my hair kind of the colour I wanted my hair anyway. I'll post a picture like now. Of what my hair looked like, and that's after I stripped it, and then I put hair dye on it, which was like a red, natural kind of ginger colour, like this. That cost me about £2 from the same shop. Savers, or whatever the shop was called, it's a lot cheaper than buying it from, say, a main high street shop like Boots or whatever. So it did do the job. I mean, it was very good. Something I did during stripping my hair was I put a bag on my head. It does sound really stupid, but it worked. In the instructions it says try and keep your head warm. If you're in a drafty room, then try and insulate your hair. I don't know, but I put a bag on my head and it was pretty good. It wasn't like a plastic bag. Well, it was a plastic bag, but it wasn't like a carrier bag. It was more like a food bag. I found it in my cupboard and I thought, hey, I'm gonna put it on my head. So that's what I did. And but I did wrap a towel around the bag that was on my head, so I didn't look quite of an idiot if someone knocked on my door and they were like, what are you doing with a bag on your head? And they'd be like, I'm stripping my hair. But it's a need for a bag on my head, okay? So you need to know. Bag on head is good when stripping hair. I would advise, if you do put a bag on your head, to be extra careful, because you're not meant to put bags on your head over your face because you can suffocate yourself, and that is not good. So be extra careful when doing it. If you put a towel around your head, make sure you do put a bag on first, because it would soak into the towel and I don't think it would work as well. An alternative, if you don't have a bag, is cling film. Again, be careful with cling film, but it should work and it should keep your head warm. I thought it was pretty good. I would think about putting blonde on it after you've stripped it, mainly because, I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't work, but I'd think about doing it in case, because it was pretty gingerish. and once when I dyed my hair fluorescent orange by accident, it was kind of a bit like that colour, but then my hair was more orange, so I don't know, I would think about putting blonde on it, but yet again I still don't see why it wouldn't work. Trying to think what faults it has. It doesn't really have many faults. I mean, the only thing is it smells pretty bad, and it does stick around for a few days after. And I had to open a window while I was doing it, so yeah, you know what I mean if you try it out. Hair, like I said, wasn't that ruined. I did conditioner it after. I would advise using a heat protector on your hair. I use Tresemme, and it's just like in a squirt thing. You squirt on your hair, brush it through, whack your hairdryer on, straighteners. One thing I have heard about Schwarzkopf hair dye is that if you use over 200 degrees of heat on your hair, it can stain the colour. It makes the colour of your hair stain to your actual hair things, hair roots. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I heard it. I do know people who have their hair dryers, hair straighteners, curlers, hair tongs, whatever you want to call it, on the hottest heat possible. If your hair straighteners straighten your hair at say, do you know, I'm not good with this kind of degrees thing, but if your hair straightener is straightening your hair and it's perfectly fine, I would leave it at the lowest heat possible. If it does the job, it does the job. It doesn't need to be any hotter. It will ruin your hair. You'll get split ends. I mean, you get split ends from putting heat on your hair, but you kind of want to have your hair in the best condition it can be. If you can leave your hair wet and let it dry, I mean, I do it sometimes, and if you go to bed with wet hair, your hair goes out of place, goes out of shape, has no body to it or whatever if you go to bed with wet hair. But if you get the chance to not use a hairdryer, dry your hair naturally, it will be a lot better for your hair. I feel that when I do that though, my hair is not as soft as it is when I use a hairdryer. So I do protect my hair with a heat protector, which I think everyone should do because it's good. I can't think of anything else to add. I think it's a really good product, and I hope it works, and I hope you feel better about shipping your hair. If you've got any questions, write in the comment box and subscribe to me.